Hello everybody, this is your 59-year-old carnival friend George from Bridgewater in Somerset, England. Get ready for another one-take wonder on YouTube. I've yet to work out how to do any editing. I feel sure one day if I do decide to take YouTube seriously, when I've got a bit more time on my hands, then I will learn how to do that. So today, I just want to give you a quick surprising update on my carnivore journey. It's all about the weight loss, really. This particular story is anyway. This week, I witnessed something which I never expected to happen. I actually saw a new low weight which I've never recorded in my life. Just to put some perspective on it, there are three ways that we measure throughout this world. One is in kilos. The other one is in pounds, and the UK way is in stones and pounds. Just for our international viewers, 1 stone equals 14 pounds. Now, I started my journey back in March of 2022, weighing in at 21 stones, 133 kilograms, or 293 pounds. This week, I actually saw 75.8 kilograms, which is 11 stone 13 or 167 pounds. Now, the lowest, I didn't start weighing myself until the age of 17, when I became very weight conscious and managed to drop 2 stone or 28 pounds from 14 stone to 12 stone exactly. So this week I actually saw a weight which was 1 pound at 11 stone 13 below my 17-year-old weight. Now, it's quite common today to say nowadays that, 50 is a new 40, 60 is a new 40. But I'm 60 in September, and I never expected to be 60 to be the new 17. But the figures speak for themselves. I just wish I had the energy that I had back in those days, but I'm not far off it, to be perfectly honest with you. So, yeah, that's a bit of good news. Also, obviously, the waistline has reduced from 44 inches to 32 inches now, about which I'm very happy. But the carnivore journey has been 3 years and 2 months. It's been very successful. I've managed to get rid of all carbohydrates, apart from some liquid ones, and also all the seed oils, and my body is thanking me for it very much. However, as some of you know, I have only just given up alcohol. Alcohol, I carried on drinking for the first 3 years of going into the low-carb carnivore space. I stubbornly refused to give it up because it's been part of my life for just about as long as I can really remember, I suppose. But I decided in March of this year that enough was enough. Today is day 69 of being without alcohol, so tomorrow will be day 70 or 10 weeks, and I don't think I'll be going back. Now, my alcohol story really started when I was about 12, maybe 13 years of age, when my father decided that I should start to drink beer because he thought that it would teach me how to drink in moderation, as he always did. It would teach me to respect beer. However, it was very counterintuitive, on account of the fact that from the first sip of beer, I absolutely loved the stuff. And it became very much part of my life for the next 42 and a half years, I think, up until the age of 59 and a half this year. And not only beer, but also in later life, wine as well. Yeah, so at the age of 12 and a half, I had my first beer, loved it, and then would drink it whenever I could get away with it, I suppose, from then on as a teenager. I went to college to do A-levels, and from the age of 16 to the age of 18. And there was lots of college parties, and back in those days, it was much easier to get a drink in a pub underage. So it was very much part of the college lifestyle. After college, I went into the army, where, quite frankly, alcohol was part of the social norm back in those days. You could even call it an epidemic back in those days. There was always subsidised drinking in the NAFI, the Navy, Army and Air Force Institute. And every sporting event, every social event revolved heavily around alcohol. There were very, very few teetotalers in the army back in my day anyway. And I spent 5 years based in Cyprus, where alcohol flows very readily. Again, we had the NAFI over there, and I do remember back in when I first arrived there in 1987, I think a large bottle of beer was 50 cents, which was about 60 pence back in those days. So it was very easy to drink all the time, and I played a lot of sport, drank a lot of beer, drank a lot of wine, the local wine as well. But I managed to keep myself basically fit through exercise. I left the army towards the end of my 20s, went to university, where I carried on drinking as if I was still earning the money and spending too much, and basically drank myself out of funds of university in my second year, and had to leave in order to get a job. But I carried on drinking right the way through my 30s. I kept myself relatively fit back in those days, and in the year 2000, when I think I was 35, I went to the Himalaya and did a charity trek up there, and basically drank my way from Kathmandu to Gorak Shep, which is the highest village in the world. You could get a beer everywhere along the way. And when we got back to Kathmandu the last night, I can barely remember, because we went to the Tamil district of Kathmandu, which is the main the bar area, and got absolutely wasted. And I've got vague recollections of having a hangover on the plane on the way back home the next day. So that was in my 30s. In my 40s, I carried on drinking, but this was when my malnutrition really started to kick in, which caused me metabolic syndrome. So for about 12 years, I lost a lot of my life to being very ill, putting on a lot of weight, but I carried on drinking as usual, suffered hangovers, suffered the night sweats, all the things that go with it, misery, depression, etc., etc. However, when I discovered low-carb carnivore, I carried on drinking, and actually it kind of helped with I never got hangovers, and I always had the energy, so I thought there was nothing wrong. But it wasn't really until the last year or so that I've noticed that it was causing me problems, definitely causing me problems. I had memory loss quite regularly. I got drunk very, very quickly, and I became very unpleasant, very bolshy, I suppose is a word you might say. Was ready for an argument a lot of the time, and I became a fairly unpleasant person. Now, most of the drinking revolved around days off and holidays. So, and also in the evenings when I got home from work, I'd often drink 2 bottles of wine in the evening. It would help me sleep sometimes, to be perfectly honest with you. But things like Christmas, when we take 10 days off in the construction industry, I was drinking every day for 10 days. And it kind of took the edge off some of the enjoyment, maybe, because there was lots of stress around Christmas. That came out in the form of rows at home, which wasn't very pleasant for either myself or Lainey, my wife. And then really, it came to a head on my annual holiday in March of this year, when I take a week off every year because I like to watch Cheltenham races on the television. Cheltenham races being a major event here in the UK over 4 days. Looking back on this year, it was horrible. The racing was good, but I started drinking every lunchtime, and quite frankly, I couldn't remember a lot of the afternoons. And once again, the arguments kicked in, the memory loss kicked in, staggering around the place looking like an idiot kicked in. And I kind of had a light bulb moment on the last day of that holiday, which was a Sunday before I went back to work. I looked back on the week, and I was kind of horrified at the way I'd wasted it, the way that what was supposed to be one of the most enjoyable weeks of the year didn't really work out that way, thanks to alcohol. Because once again, the rows kicked in. I didn't really know what I was doing, didn't really enjoy it that much. And I suddenly realised that I was done. I suddenly realised that I was done with alcohol, that I could live life better without it. So the following day, the Monday, became day one of the rest of my life. And in doing that, I am now on day 69, and I'm feeling so much better for it, to the point where I will never, ever be going back. It's as simple as that. The benefits are manifold. My mood is much better. I'm able to drive out to go and do things now because I'm not depending on having to get a taxi or to get a lift. So I can actually drive out to nice places for days out and all that sort of thing. Not only that, but I was suffering from night sweats through the alcohol. That's probably the liver complaining quite badly. Those night sweats have now gone. And again, the energy is back. So, yeah, that's my story. I know that many of us out there, many of you out there, have gone through similar things in your life, but when you came to carnivore, you actually gave up the alcohol alongside it. That wasn't the case for me. I carried on very stubbornly. I am getting some pushback, if you like, or there are some negative consequences, because many of my local friends, our friendship kind of thrived on a shared alcohol experience. And it's kind of awkward now. I am still drinking non-alcoholic beer, so I still do go to the pub with them occasionally. But the dynamics have somewhat changed because I'm not quite the same person anymore. I don't really sort of get the alcoholic buzz anymore. So I'm a little bit more reserved. And a lot of the time I'm just thinking about my health, carnivore. I'm wishing the good health upon them, as we always do. So that makes life a little bit difficult, but it's a question of adapting. But as I said, the benefits far outweigh the negative side of things. So I can highly recommend the giving up of the alcohol. And it's not simple because, you know, it kind of defined my life, but it doesn't anymore. I'm free. It is a massive feeling of freedom, the same as you get the freedom from sugar and seed oils and all the other things that we've given up. Anyway, so that's my alcohol story, which I hope is now over, which I know is now over because I know that I will not be going back. So just to move on to other matters which I need to address today, the first one being the Great British Meetup, which, as you know, it was my brainchild back in October of last year, I think. I've managed to work it out. And this week, myself, Caĺl, Sarah Healthy Carnivore, and Alex Carnivore for Life did a live show about it with Kerry from Healing Humanity. So if you haven't actually if you didn't see it live and haven't seen it to the playback, then no, please go and do so. We had a lot of fun. Kerry's a really nice guy. And we pointed out the fact that any proceeds that we managed to make over and above cost from the meetup will in fact go to the Healing Humanity project. So again, please support us. If you're interested in buying tickets, then please go to Caĺl's channel, The Primal Lifestyle, or his Facebook, where you'll find the link to buy the tickets. Tickets are going well, and we have a great optimism that it's going to be a very successful event. I will do a separate video tomorrow with a few frequently asked questions about camping, accommodation, children, dogs, etc., but I'll save that one for tomorrow. And then finally, just to sign off today, I'd like to make a quick rallying call to the carnivore family, the carnivore community across the world. Now is our time. We are in a very different place from we were even this time last year, because now over in America, our banner is flying on Capitol Hill. RFK Jr. is now the Secretary for Health and Human Services over in the States, and Dr. Casey Means is the Surgeon General. So we have two friends in the very high position of power in the United States. So now is the time not to take our foot off the gas. As Winston Churchill once famously said, this is not the end. This is not the beginning of the end, but it may just be the end of the beginning. And that's the way we should see it. So now is the time for us, the carnivore family around the world, to come together stronger than ever, make our voices heard in unison, and basically get the message out there. Lead by example. Nearly all of us have healed ourselves with the carnivore diet or even the low carb or keto diet, and we must be a shining light. So to do that, there are plenty of people out there who believe in testimonies, plenty of our influencers, one of whom is Dr. Caĺl, who does an hourly show when he has a new testimony on every day. Dave Mack has done over 1,000 testimonies. Kerry has done many interviews himself, and many other people such as John Laspina, carnivore teacher, have also done interviews. Let's keep those interviews going. Let's keep that testimony going, and let's give them something to think about. As I said, our banner now flies over Capitol Hill in the United States, but they will come after us. The powers that be will not like what is happening, and we are still in the minority, but we are kind of mainstream now, but we must hold firm and hold together. So that is my rallying call to you, my friends, the carnivore family around the world. And as I said, I shall do a practical video tomorrow about the administration of the meetup. But for the moment, I'll leave you with the thought that basically we need to stand together, we need to stand firm, and we need to be united. So I urge you to go out there, find your tribe, form communities, and let's show them what we can do. Okay, that's it. Bye for now. Look forward to seeing you next time.